Welcome everybody to our Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce Regional Roundtable. This is 12 of our area nonprofits, and they're going to go through what their organization is doing and how you can help their organization. We're going to start with the Ada Jenkins Center, and Diane Means is joining us. And let's see here. Diane, do you want to share something about the Ada Jenkins Center and share what your organization is doing?
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Just excited to have my computer working this morning, but I am going to get to speak on behalf of the Ada Jenkins Center today. In regular times when we're not facing an international crisis, the Ada Jenkins Center, our mission is to help people in our communities create lasting solutions to economic stability. And we're all struggling with the now normal, but people who were struggling with economic stability before the crisis are struggling now even more. Many of our client partners work in area businesses that have had to reduce or be shuttered. And although our area businesses are doing a lot of work to keep people in work as much as they can, we know many of our client partners are struggling with just keeping food on the table and money in the bank account so that they can pay rent, do utilities and whatnot. So one of the things that we are doing right now, very much like normal, is try to reach out to our client partners in a holistic fashion. Our social workers reach out to our families very, very often to try to connect with them about their needs. One thing that we've done, you all may have noticed it, is we started a fund, kind of an emergency fund, a COVID-19 response fund. We've had a great, tremendous response. We will keep trying to raise money so that we can help people pay bills now and in the future, as this crisis is expected to last for a while. We also are seeking Spanish-speaking volunteers. As we make deliveries of CMS meals. We are a CMS grab-and-go site. We are delivering those meals now. Our food pantry is running once a week out of our Loaves and Fishes parking lot, but we do need Spanish-speaking volunteers to assist with that effort. We are going online with our eligibility and economic assistance application either later today or first thing in the morning. So if you know of somebody in our community that needs that type of assistance or help, please have them log on to the Ada Jenkins website and seek out that form underneath the eligibility page. We want to thank everybody for their support. We've had a tremendous response, and we are feel very thankful to be in the spot that we're in to help people.
Thank you, Diane. We really appreciate that. And next, we're going to go to Jessika Tucker with Angels and Sparrows.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about Angels and Sparrows. So our focus and our mission has always been to start with a meal. No questions asked for anybody who comes to us who is hungry. We provide groceries. And most importantly, we've always provided social capital, doing this by serving cafe style and just really interacting with our guests, among volunteers, guests, and of course, the leadership of Angels and Sparrows as well. Because of the crisis, we've had to zero in on just providing the meal and groceries to our guests. We're still keeping in touch with them through phone calls on a weekly basis, and just trying to ascertain what their needs might be and see how things are going for them. We are noticing every week that more and more people are coming in saying they've lost their jobs or their hours have been cut severely. Maybe they're working 1 day a week. So, immediately we noticed a 42% increase in the need, the number of families coming to us. All of this occurred while we lost about 80% of our volunteer staff because they fall into the at-risk categories and simply can't be with us right now. We also, of course, had a significant drop in donations from our grocery partners because grocery stores just don't have extra to donate to us right now. So on top of that, having to cancel our gala, things have definitely tightened a bit, but we're so fortunate that many churches have stepped up and additional volunteers have stepped up to help fill the gap. We've changed our process in providing them meals and groceries so that it's kind of a drive-up format, and we simply put groceries in there, the trunk of the car. Our immediate needs right now are monetary. And the reason I say monetary is because it's going to allow us the flexibility to fill in the gaps that start to arise. So, the community's been wonderful. They've been donating food and groceries that we can share with our neighbors, but there are going to be gaps as no one can continuously do that. And so monetary donations will allow us to fill in those gaps that we see. And as we see that, we're anticipating that more and more families will be coming to us, even when we go back to normal, because people simply won't have jobs to return to necessarily. So we want to make sure we're prepared. We don't want to turn away any family that comes to us in need. And we want to make sure that the new families that come to us are incorporated into our culture of, community and friendship, and they can rely on us for those resources that we've been able to give in the past. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessika. I really appreciate it. Thank you for what the Angels and Sparrows is doing. Next, we're going to go to Jim Warren, and Jim, you're actually out there in the great outdoors.
Good morning, everyone. And Bill, thank you so much for putting this on. And I'm here at what I'm now calling Mini Lotta. And so we're in our backyard. I don't know if a lot of you know, but now Lotta is closed to the public. There was an order issued yesterday so that almost all of the park facilities are closed. So you can't even come out and come to Lotta to walk. But we're very appreciative that Park and Rec is continuing us to operate. Of course, we have a lot of live birds that we're caring for. And so even though that we are closed to the public, we still have about 100+ animals that we care for on a daily basis. So it's really been a different shift for us. If you want to help us, a couple different ways. One is every day at 11 o'clock, we're doing a live feed on Facebook. It's a way for folks to be engaged with us. We really like you to check it out. You can go also share it, and you can donate through that platform also. We're also going to be doing some online Raptor experiences and engagements for families to get involved with. They'll be curriculum-based so that students can do it. One way that we're getting a lot of people to help us is that in this time of doing everything remotely, well, we're buying a lot of stuff and having it delivered to our house. And so I also encourage all the other nonprofits, if you haven't done this, go to Amazon Smile, set up a profile, set up an account, and then when everybody buys something, you're going to get a portion of that. It really has helped us. When we reopen, and we are going to reopen at some point, as I know we all are, please come out and visit and then purchase a membership. That's one way that people can support us right now. It has been a hard time for us. I think a lot of you know that we are in the Igniting Imagination through Birds of Prey. We're a rehab hospital. We're the largest in the country. We get thousands of visitors that come out every month. So with no visitors, no programs, but yet we still have the hospital to operate. So we've had almost a 90% cut in funding, but at the same time, our operational costs have actually gone up because we now don't have volunteers. No volunteers can come out. So staff are doing everything. We've really had to shift on how we care and shift things over. And now with Lotta being closed, it adds even another dimension to that. So we know we're going to get through this. We're trying to stay positive. We've moved to virtual. And another thing I recommend folks to do is we have virtual fun time a couple times a week. We've played online Jeopardy with the staff. We've done Pictionary. So it keeps your folks engaged, whereas normally we are a hands-on, moving together team. Only a couple people are going in every day for social distancing and to care for the birds. The rest of us are all working remotely, and that's hard to do when you're an active person. So hence you're seeing my office in the background. And again, please take care, treat this thing seriously, as I know you are. And when we do get through it, please come out and see the birds.
Jim, we appreciate it. Thank you for everything you're doing at the Raptor Center. Next, we're going to go over to Caterpillar Ministries, and we have their founder today. Ann is with us, and Ann, it's your show.
Thank you. Hey, it's great to see everybody. I think everybody looks a little tired as we're adapting here. But Caterpillar is doing well. We're in the neighborhood of Huntington Green and have been there for 14 years. And we just love our families to pieces. And just like the other agencies that we partner with, Ada and Jessika, Angels, we're seeing a lot of need for food. We usually were based, having programs with kids, telling them about God's love for them, tutoring and things like that. And we've had to move it all online. So we are continuing to tutor online. We could definitely use anyone who would like to spend a half an hour with a child doing multiplication facts or reading to them. School is hard when your parents don't speak English, and so they can't really help their kids. So we could definitely use some tutors. We are trying to keep our neighbors fed in conjunction with Angels and Sparrows, and we're giving about 175 bags of food away every week to our families, and we are partnered with CMS, and they are bringing their buses into our neighborhood and giving kids meals every day. And so those are our main things that we're doing, is food and tutoring, but we also are doing kids clubs online, and we are trying very hard to keep our relationships going, because that's what we're about. We love our neighbors, and we want to make sure that they know that they're cared for. As other people mentioned, we are very concerned as multiple people are losing jobs and rent is going to come due. Yes, right now they can't be evicted, but in May or June, when they owe multiple months rent, it's going to be a major problem. So we also have an emergency fund to help for rent. So we just thank you. Thanks for putting this together. It's great to see everybody, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. We really appreciate what you're doing. And next we're going to go to Melissa. Melissa's with the Cool Kids Clubhouse.
Hey, everybody. I thank you, Bill. This is really amazing to see a lot of my old friends from my nonprofits. So Cool Kids, we support pediatric oncology patients. And one of the things that I'm discovering is that social isolation and physical distancing is not new to these parents. And they've been scared and isolated for many months, some of them for 15 months and longer. And so some of the programs that we have in place are critical to the emotional and social supports for these children. We have a lot of virtual programming, professional tutoring that we are doing, supports where we've implemented, I'm sure some of you have seen, where you go out and decorate the sidewalks and card the yard, where you put balloons and cards in the children's yards because they can't have birthday parties. So those are some of the things that we're trying to continue to do. Of course, with all of your events and fundraisers canceled, it does present a challenge, but we have seen reports where 20% or more of our children don't have any friends. There's upwards of 50% of the children fall behind in school. So all of our programming has always been and continues to be even more so critical for the children that we serve that are immune compromised. One thing we are benefiting from is that the children are able to enjoy the virtual programming that you're talking about. We've shared some of Jim's programming and some of the other awesome virtual programming that's out there, the tours, field trips, things like that. So we're hoping that this will benefit our children when this is all over, that people will understand a little bit more about social isolation. But in the meantime, of course, monetary donations are always appreciated and needed, but we can also use the hand-sewn masks for our kids because they still have to go out to the hospital and receive their chemotherapy treatments. And greeting cards are great for encouragement to help us continue to throw them virtual birthday parties and flood their mailboxes with greeting cards. So things like that are really helpful. And if there are any businesses that want to partner with us to provide food to the hospitals, we are driving food down to the hospitals for the children when they're there, for their infusion treatments, as well as supporting the nurses. That's something we're doing too. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. We really appreciate what you're doing. Next, we're going to go to Rebecca Barnes, and let's see, pull up Rebecca. And Rebecca, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing at the Children's Hope Alliance.
Thank you so much, Bill, for putting this together, and thank you, all of you who are serving our communities in such amazing ways. For those of you who may not know, Children's Hope Alliance We are the combination of Barium Springs Home for Children and the Grandfather Home for Children up in Banner Elk. They merged in 2014. And what we do is, our mission is to provide hope, health, and healing for our children who have been through, who they've suffered trauma, either through abuse or neglect, families who are dealing with substance abuse, incarceration, and families who are also just dealing with emotional, mental, and behavioral issues. Last year, we served over 2,000 children and families in about 65 counties. So we're not just in this area, but the majority of those were through our outpatient and community-based programs, and over 1,500 of them came from the Lake Norman area. We are one of very few of the level 4 agencies, so we are dealing with children who have been through the most severe trauma. And so our main focus over these last several weeks, just like everyone else, is just to keep everybody safe, keep our kids safe, our families safe, our staff. We've had a few scares and we've had a few quarantines, but knock on wood, so far nobody has been tested positive. Our biggest challenge right now is through our outpatient and our community-based programs. We have had to close our offices to visitors just to keep everyone safe. And so we've had to really put into place very quickly. I'm so proud of our IT and our therapists who have just implemented what we call telehealth. So we're still meeting with our children. We're doing it through Skype, through video conferencing, through phone calls. And even we've had therapists who will drive out to talk to a child while they stand in the yard and the therapist sits in the car. So anything that this is a time when these people need our help more than ever. These are stressful times. North Carolina is one of the last states to actually approve telehealth. So we are not being paid for our services right now. We believe that we will be, but we don't know how much and we don't know when. So we're still continuing to provide services for our kids, but also, like many of you, our families are struggling. Our foster families are struggling. They've experienced layoffs. We have one who's had a kitchen fire. So our biggest need right now is it is financial. We want to continue to provide support for these families in need. We're gearing up because the experts do say that through this crisis, we're going to see an influx of abuse and neglect for these children who are already living in dangerous situations. So, the best thing that you can do for us is obviously, if you're a believer, I believe praying is the most important thing that you can do for all of us and for our nation and for the world right now. But if you would visit our website, we are desperately in need of financial support to gear up to help pay for that telehealth. But also just tell people who we are and what we do and share us on social media. We also have had to cancel our one main fundraiser, which was due for May 12th. And so we are going to be doing some virtual things, which is a little scary for this old lady. But so please, if that's something that you have familiarity with, or you'd like to get involved and maybe create your own fundraising page, please let me know. And thank you all, and please be safe.
Thank you, Rebecca. Next, we're going to go to hospice and palliative care. I think we have Pete Brunick on the line with us. And Pete, you want to
let's see if I can get my camera straight here. Let me push it back a little bit. Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Pete Brunick. I'm the president and CEO of Hospice Palliative Care Charlotte Region. I'll try to get my camera right. Anyway, on the call today, we have Nicole Wolf, who is our regional director for Lake Norman. We have Tara Connally, who is our vice president of business development, and Jim Cooper, one of our strategic account managers. A quick overview, of course, I think many of you may know this organization, Hospice and Palliative Care Charlotte Region. We are based here in Charlotte, been here since '79. On each day, we serve about 2,000 patients under hospice or our palliative care program, and that's we can explain the difference between the two at another point. We are continuing to serve our patients. Again, 2,000 patients over a 23 county area. We are really focused right now on supporting our staff. They are on the front line serving patients. We are certainly, right in the midst of all this. And I'm going to turn it over to Nicole, because Nicole, who again runs our Lake Norman region, is really far more involved on the execution of our delivery of care. And I'd really like for her to share what she's encountering and how we're handling this COVID-19 crisis.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Pete. Yeah, as Pete said, we, provide care to patients in our communities, be it in their homes, in the hospital, or in facilities who have life-limiting illnesses. So that is unchanged. We are continuing to receive referrals on those patients and provide care out in the community. However, we're doing it in a little bit of a modified fashion. We have looked to turn towards telehealth technology for many of our visits. Our physicians and nurse practitioners are providing visits for symptom management needs via telehealth. Our nurses and social workers and chaplains are doing the same. We are making use of video conferencing as well as phone calls to call and communicate and stay in touch with our families and offer them the support and symptom management that they need. But we are still making in-person visits. We are there for our patients, our families, our hospitals, and our communities to go at the bedside and provide care for these patients. Medicare has called on providers to what they call promoting hospitals without walls. And that is essentially referring to a lot of home care in the communities, because we know our hospitals are going to be overrun and are going to have trouble dealing with the excessive amount of patients. They're also going to be discharging patients who are positive back to the homes and communities once they've started a process of recovery, or once they have been deemed that they may not recover from this and their desire is just comfort measures. So our nurses will be called to go at the bedside and minister and provide care to them. So that is what we are ramping up and determining our policies and procedures and how we can best help the community as well as keep our staff safe. And our Levine and Dickson hospice houses are also ramping up for this, as we expect to be assistance to the hospitals in providing care for patients. One thing of note I would like to share on this call is that effective this week on Monday, we do not allow visitors into either of our hospice houses unless the patient is in their final days to week of life. This is to protect our staff, our patients that are there, as well as families. And so we're coordinating that individually. Our biggest concern in our organization has been the lack of PPE available just from our the primary United States vendors that we work with, but we have done a great job of sourcing it. So I am confident that we will have the needed supplies to take care of our patients and protect our staff at the bedside. But that does not mean that if you do not come across a source, please let us know, because we're continually looking at adding PPE for our staff. So just know we're still taking referrals. We're still out there providing exceptional hospice and palliative care, and we appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Jim, do you have anything to add?
No, that was very well said. We just always appreciate the partnering of the community. We've had a lot of volunteers come from the Lake Norman area for all the years that we've been here serving this community. So again, we thank everyone in this community for helping us do what we do for those who need us in such a critical way.
Fantastic. Well, then next we're going to go to Habitat for Humanity, and we got Brooke on the line.
Well, good morning, everyone. And Bill, thank you for putting this together, and thank everyone who is doing all the wonderful things in our community to keep us going. I am with Habitat for Humanity of the Charlotte region, and we have recently merged with Habitat Charlotte. Now our service area runs from Pineville through Statesville, and we are a nonprofit that is an affordable housing solutions throughout that service area. We work in new home construction for homeowners that are in need of housing, as well as critical home repairs, neighborhood revitalization, and financial literacy. Those are kind of our big bullets. And we, as well as many of the others and a lot of what's already been stated, the impacts of the current crisis is real and is affecting our organization and our mission and the ability to serve those families. Right now, we have had to temporarily close 7 of our restores through that Pineville through Statesville area, laying off over 60 staff, and that is about a $200,000 deficit that we're going to be seeing per month while those restores are closed. Those restores are a significant part of the income revenue stream that comes into our organization to serve families. Obviously, with the shutdown of the restores, that means we cannot accept donations right now. And I know while I'm the same as you, we're all at home, and this is a great time for us to clean our closets. We ask that you just kind of keep those aside, maybe in the corner of the garage or something, because when this does come to an end, we are going to need those donations more than ever as we get back up and running in the 7 of our restores across our service area. As many others have stated, we've had to suspend our volunteer activities. A typical critical home repair throughout the year takes about 1,600 hours of volunteer labor. So as you can imagine, we still have homes that need to be completed. We have about 20 active projects right now that we need to have completed by June. One of those actually is in Huntington Green, but we do have those that need to be completed. And so we have eliminated all of our volunteers, and we've moved to 6-person staff teams that are continuing to do that work. That is costing us more money, and it's also a loss of about $100,000 per month that we are now facing, not being able to utilize those volunteer teams. Again, as others have said, we've had to cancel and postpone some events, some of our signature fundraising events. We had a breakfast that was planned for April that is now moved to September the 22nd, as well as our Builders Bash, which was scheduled for September. We are now going to be merging that with the Blue Jean Bash in Charlotte, since both of those were going to be happening simultaneously. But altogether, just the general donations from these events and from donations in general, not having volunteer teams and corporate partners come out and volunteer, it's about $150,000 a month. So when you add all that together, it's a lot of money that we are not able to see right now. We know that this too shall pass, and we will be able to get back up and functioning. But then I think our next big rock that we're going to be facing is, like many have said, the homeowners that we serve, we're also a mortgage provider. And so we're going to be looking at some delayed mortgage payments. And, a lot of our families are being affected because they have been laid off in the food industry or, whatever all of these businesses are that have been shut down have been affecting our families. And so their loss of job means that they're not going to be able to pay their mortgages, which means that their mortgages are going to be delayed. And so we're anticipating that that's going to be probably about $175,000 of loss that we could be experiencing when everything kind of comes to a head with what all this means. I think, out of everything, you can see there at the bottom of the screen, the CEO of Habitat International kind of put it into perspective for me. The uncertainty that many of us feel today, many of the families that we serve have felt this for a lifetime, if not for generations. And so this is certainly something that is horrible for all of us to be going through, but it just kind of puts into play that this is what a lot of our families are dealing with, these challenges every day, trying to figure out where they're going to find the funding to be able to continue to do the important things that they need to do. So what we need most of all right now are your financial contributions. We need them to help us with the revenue that we have estimated that we're going to be losing. But then we also need your support when this is over to come back out to the job site, help us to volunteer, come to our events, and bring all of your goodies from the closet cleanings that you've been doing over the last several weeks, bring them to our restores and help us to be able to impact more families in a positive direction moving forward. Thank you very much.
Brooke, thank you very much. We appreciate everything that Habitat does. Next, we're going to go to Margi Kyle, who is with us. She's with Little Smiles, and getting Margi on the line. And Margi, are you with us? Oh, let's see.
Unmute.
There you go.
Okay. And I'll pull my slide up. We have been in business for 10 years. We have two chapters now in Florida, one in Philly, one in New York, and I started North Carolina 10 years ago. We are just very simple. We do what it takes to put a smile on a child's face. We work through the nurses. Whatever the nurses feel those kids need, we provide. Right now, we seem to be doing a ton of phones and either iPads or laptops because some of those kids can't be with their families. At least they can do Zoom meetings or FaceTime using technology, and that has been huge. I cannot tell you how many iPads we went through just even in a week. We go through like 30 to 40. So we do birthday parties, although they have put a halt to those. iPads, cell phones, games, character visits, pizza night. We work with Camp Care. We do whatever it takes to make that child happy and to be normal, if only for a few minutes. We do have a huge storage unit across from Tenders, which I know Ada Jenkins has been to. And I would invite anybody who needs toys for kids to give me a call at 704-661-5223, and we'll get you in there and you can take whatever you want. I call it selective shoplifting. It's fun for the police and the fire department to come in and for the ambulance drivers to keep their cars stocked with toys should an accident or something happen where they need to calm a child down. We are local, hands-on, and immediate. We are here for our kids, and we're really serving the Lake Norman area. And I think we're in about 19 facilities. So we're going strong, doing well. We too have had to cancel several fundraisers, but I know that we'll all get through this. And I love the fact that we meet when we do and that we can reach out and help each other. So thank you, Bill, for what you're doing.
Thank you, Margi. We really appreciate everything that you guys are doing over there with Little Smiles. Next, we have Make an Impact Foundation, and we've got Deborah McKee. And Deborah, I'm going to go ahead and turn you on, and go ahead. Got you on mute still?
Can you hear us?
Yep, got you. We got you.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you all for having us and being here today. We have the pleasure at Make an Impact to be able to help other people while we are in this crazy time, but that's kind of what we do. We do things a little differently. We work with companies and then put projects together to help other nonprofits or to help people in need. So this time is no different for us. We are, as the slide shows, working with Bright Blessings to put together activities for kids that need food or need hygiene kits. We're also working with Iredell County and CMS School District for some of their kids that are homeless, which means they don't have food. The school's doing a great job of putting together lunches or breakfast pickups for them, but they don't have the snacks or other food opportunities. So we've been doing a pantry drive through Amazon Smile to get food for those folks. If there are other things, I took some notes from all of you of ways we can help you. So if there are ways that we can help, please let us know. We're more than happy to use our platform to reach out to our donors and reach out. We find that most of our people are great at donating supplies, and that's kind of where we reach the most people is through supplies. So if there's needs like that, please let us know. I know we've helped Caterpillar as well with their families. So our plans for the summer are still moving forward. We're still going to try and finish the playground that we're building at Huntington Green for the Caterpillar kids and the kids of that Huntington Green district. Hopefully as soon as this ban lifts, we can finish that project. And then hoping to have our impact camps, our summer camps, some of the stuff as the summer or fall moves on. So we're hoping to keep some of our programming the same, which helps with career aspirations and helping kids understand that they're not what their surroundings are. So if anybody has any input or suggestions for things that we can do at those camps, or even online resources right now to share with kids on careers and ways to stay involved and ways to give back, we're going to try and do that through social media. So if we can help you, or if you have ideas for us to help others, please let us know. We're in the business of helping children. So that's what I've got. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Deborah. We really appreciate it. The next one we had was Camp Dogwood. I don't see Tammy on the line. I'm going to leave her screen up for just a little while, and maybe we'll come back to Tammy if she's able to join us from North Carolina Lions Club with Camp Dogwood. The next presenter that we have is Christina Bartolotta, and she is with the Lotta Foundation. And Christina, we're going to unmute you and tell us a little bit about what the Lotta Foundation is doing.
Certainly. Hey, Bill, thanks so much for hosting this, and thanks everyone for being here. It's great hearing from everybody and, you know, just collaborating a bit, hearing that we're all kind of having the same missions, visions, goals, and obstacles, and being here for each other to kind of move forward and continue. So we are an all-volunteer nonprofit, and we really like to focus on helping to reduce the negative impact of poverty and sickness that comes to both adults and children who are impoverished in our community. So we like to collaborate with other organizations, some of which are here. Right now, we're making an active effort to communicate with communities and schools, Food for Days, and Bags of Hope. They have seen with Bags of Hope and Food for Days roughly a 25% increase in families served over the last week. And so they go from weekend to every day. And as you may imagine, that's quite an impactful thing for them to overcome. So while we love the idea of having brand awareness, and we definitely need low-cost fundraising options, the number one thing we could use right now is small cans of soup, like individual cans of soup. So if you've got a connection with Campbell's or Lipton or any soup manufacturer, we could certainly use that so that the Bags of Hope and Food for Days folks can get that out, because that's our number one need for both of those folks. Communities and schools is collaborating with those, and we are getting food dispatched daily. We're also in this coming week getting things for our, not just the homeless kids, but the kids who are in between. They're not homeless, but they can't get to where they need to be without walking, and they may or may not be what we call latchkey kids. You know, their families may still have work, but they're home alone. So them getting out is a little bit of a challenge. So we're getting people to go to the homes and drive and drop the food without knowing the identities, if that makes any good sense. So fiscal responsibility is something that each of these organizations have, and that's why we collaborated with them. And so that's what we're doing right now to try to help. And what we could use from you folks is cans of soup.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate everything you guys are doing at the Lotta Foundation. And our last presenter is going to be Shane Ruffin with the United Way. Shane, I think you're on the telephone with us.
I am. Good morning, all. At United Way, we are boldly raising funds right now in the middle of this. And it's been awesome to see the communities come together. You know, in our Charlotte office has raised over $15 million from some of the bigger players in town to then give back out in the form of short-term grants. So it's not like the normal United Way process. It's very shortened, and it's for stuff, you know, everything that we're talking about on this call almost is subject to funding from this emergency fund. Basic needs, shelter, foods, healthcare access, service delivery, and, you know, even down to maintaining staffing levels. We understand how thin a lot of these staffing models are at our partner agencies, and some of that may be some of the operating support that we're able to fund. And with the fund that's been established in Charlotte, it's really helped our 5-county footprint up in Iredell County, which is also part of my service area. It spawned another fund in partnership with Foundation for the Carolinas, and we're able to do some really good work in the Mooresville and Iredell County area. So I would say this money is different than our annual allocation. There's no, you don't have to be a partner agency to apply for these funds. And I'm on the resource development side of the house. So I don't have any pull or any priority in terms of how the money's allocated, but I do know that there's a lot of funds out there that are going towards a lot of what you guys just outlined in the call. We're proud to fund Ada Jenkins up in Davidson, and look forward to hearing more about the work you guys are doing. It's just amazing to hear all the work that's happening, and good to get on a call with some live people on occasion to hear the good things that are happening in our community. So thank you guys for what you're doing, and keep it up.
Thank you, Shane. We want to thank all our presenters. I don't think we ever got Tammy on the line, and I apologize for that. This whole presentation will be posted on the Chamber's website. It will be pushed out to our Chamber members through email and also in social media. We also got some great programs. I think I saw Melanie Houston on the line, and we got a program with Dan Houston tomorrow. Melanie, I'm going to unmute you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Melanie, I know this is impromptu, but do you want to share a little bit about the program that we have coming up on Thursday?
Yes, it's leadership during crises. And Dan is going to be doing 4 lunch and learns, around 15 minutes with the Chamber. And it's John Maxwell, Leading During Crisis. It's his program. Dan is one of the executive directors with the John Maxwell team here in Charlotte, Lake Norman. And he's going to be helping anyone that's in a leadership position or aspires to navigate these waters during a crisis. And what do leaders do during crisis? So you're welcome to sign up and get registered. There's a link to get registered. And then after that, once you're registered, we'll send you a John Maxwell workbook, Leading During Crisis. You'll be able to download that, and it's your copy.
Melanie, we want to thank you. We want to thank all of our presenters for joining us today. And again, we'll get this information out. And I want to thank everybody for being a part of this program.
Thanks for having us.
Bill, thank you. Everyone stay safe. Be healthy.
Thanks. You too.